Hey Thomas, thank you so much for taking the time to record your video. We'll try to make this really short and condense our argument so we stay on track here.
All right, hi again, Luke. I'm afraid my response to your response to my response might become a little bit longer this time. There's a lot to cover, but I'll try to be quick.
Um, you made a comment about everyone will have the aluminum, the raw materials, right? Everyone can have access to it. Um, I think we really need to be uh, better than that, right? Our arguments need to be more sufficient than that. You can't just say everyone will have it.
Well, yeah, your main questions were A, can you have it? B, can everyone have it? So I said yes and yes to those two questions. And then you asked how, and I gave you a short description, but sure, I agree. We might have to get into this in more detail, and that's what I'm gonna try to do.
You wouldn't be satisfied if I said, come join Lukeville, it's an awesome place, and everyone can have a concert from Modest Yahoo on their Sweet 16th birthday, and everyone can have a hamburger. Oh, you want a bicycle? You got it, right? Like, it's just not an argument, just to assert that they'll be able to be these things and everyone can have them.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Did I do anything that ridiculous? I don't think so. I also, like I said, I described it shortly, but not in any ridiculous way, but let's carry on.
So I would appreciate a little more effort to explain why and how and all that good stuff. So you say that everyone can just have aluminum. I just want to make a couple points. Aluminum just isn't pulled out of the earth, right? It's not just underground in aluminum pipes, right? There's hundreds of millions of people involved in the steps to get aluminum from rock stage to metal pipe stage, right? Processing plant and the roads and the trucks to deliver the aluminum and the coffee shops along the way and the machines that pull them out of the ground and the people who, the structure of production for the most basic good like this pencil is hundreds of millions of people and crazy amounts of coordination.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can only agree that is true. And the thing about this is, I don't know if you just got bad information about what we're actually proposing, or I'm just gonna try to explain. When there is a resource-based economy, nothing of those things that you described, all those millions and millions of people and all those facilities and everything, none of that just goes away or something. All of that stays in place, stays working, stays functioning, and we just keep doing the same thing we've been doing. All those hundreds and millions of people you talk about keep doing what they've been doing, except without money. And obviously the ones who were just doing stuff with money, they're gonna stop doing what they've been doing, obviously, because we're not using money anymore. But the ones who have been doing like really productive stuff, like getting the raw aluminum out of the rocks and transporting it and whatever, making coffee for the ones who transport it, like you said, if I understood you correctly, all those people who do real stuff, which is not just deal with numbers that represent money in some way, all those people who do real actual work are gonna keep doing that work, obviously, because otherwise nothing would get done anymore. They just don't pay each other for it anymore. They simply use data. So when, for example, let's stay with this aluminum, whatever, for example, you know, okay, we need this amount of aluminum there, then an order of, I don't know, 2 tons goes to a production facility. They get the order, they produce or refine or whatever they do it and deliver that amount that has been ordered. It goes with data, not by paying each other anymore. And the thing is, today it also works like that already. You just have, on top of the data, you also have the money today. So it's not like today there's only money that regulates everything. I hope you would agree, and I hope you understand that every shop every production or distribution or transportation facility today uses data. They have lists, they have databases. In whatever form, they have the data. They know how much is needed somewhere, how much is used somewhere, how much is required for them to produce, to refine, to deliver. That is in lists, that is in databases, and it's not, that information is not directly stored in the money they exchange. You sometimes get the feeling, you think that today money has this information content, this I don't know, this value of information, which is not true. Every little tiny shop to every huge company, they have all their data about how much needs to be produced, how much needs to be transported, and so on, in lists. And those lists are not necessarily, and definitely not, the same lists that contain the money. Those lists contain, okay, we have 3 more apples in storage. Tomorrow people are gonna buy 10 apples, so we need to have 10 more apples by tomorrow. And it doesn't say, okay, 1 apple costs $1, so we need to order 10 apples tomorrow. I mean, obviously I'm talking very simple language here now, but I hope you know what I mean. Every little store keeps an inventory list of every item they have, or they do it just by looking at the shelf or whatever. And when they see, okay, we're running out of this, we're gonna have to order more. Or when they see in their database, okay, storage holds just, I don't know, 100 more light bulbs, and our average consumption of light bulbs per day is 10, then we know, okay, by next week we're gonna have to have a few 100 more light bulbs in our storage, or we're gonna run out. And that is not done with money, that is done with information. And all this information, this entire system of information, we're still using in a resource-based economy. We're just doing it without exchanging money for it.
Which I think is just one of the most beautiful things about markets. And I see that not as exploitative or anything bad. I see that as the most beautiful and voluntary cooperation amongst all these people that speak different languages and that like different movies. And it's just crazy how many people can cooperate when it comes to trading with markets.
Yes, of course, and I mean there's absolutely no reason why any of that would go away in a resource-based economy. It's, if anything, it's the total opposite. There would be so much more cooperation between people when they could finally stop caring about their own financial profit and benefit, when people could simply cooperate to produce better results, because as long as people have to worry about their own profits in a monetary system, the only time they can cooperate is when it's for their own profit. You don't cooperate with your competitor. You would be stupid to do so. So everybody's fighting each other, and cooperation only happens when it happens to be to your or your partner's financial benefit. But in many cases every day it isn't, and people are in competition all the time. I don't know where you see people cooperating. Yes, when they're working in the same company, obviously they cooperate because they're under one roof. But people from two companies that produce the same product, for example, obviously they don't cooperate. They're not trying to share information freely just to produce the better product or something. There's no cooperation there. They keep their stuff secret, and I don't know where you see the cooperation there. I hope you don't. I hope you don't think there is any, because obviously there isn't any.
So when you say that everyone will just have access to these raw materials, that's not right, right? Like, no, they won't. Um, let's say 100,000 people all want a ton of aluminum on the same day, right? Just for shits and giggles, let's go down that crazy hypothetical. What will happen? Well, you can't possibly claim that you'll have the capacity, right, for the production, just for the processing plants alone. Forget the trucks and the machines to pull it out of the earth and all that good stuff. Let's just talk about um, just the production, the processing plant alone. You can't tell me you'd have that much capacity to be able to produce that much in that time frame.
Well, I'm not. I don't know what you're even talking about now. To be honest, are we talking about some crazy hypothetical case, or are we talking about something realistic? Obviously, I'm not telling anyone, like you seem to be suggesting. I'm not telling anyone that we the world would have the capacity to deliver, I don't know, 1 ton of aluminum to every person on the planet per day. Like I said in my previous video, nature dictates the limits of what is possible. If hypothetically 1 million people on one day want a certain amount of aluminum, the only thing that determines whether they're gonna get it or not is whether it's available or not. If it's available, they can have it. If it's not available, they can't have it. It's not like some ruler of the RBE, which there won't be. There will be no ruler of the RBE. I just wanted to point that out. It's not like some person or some group of people is going to determine, yes, you can have the aluminum, or no, you can't have it. That's not the way it's going to be. The only thing that determines it is if it's available or not. If it's there, you can have it. If it's not there, you can't have it. And whether it's there or not is only determined by nature, or obviously by humanity's capacity to get it out of the ground and to process it, which is in the end also nature. But what else should determine it? I mean, like I said, again, I would like to emphasize this. There is no person on top, there is no group of people on top who say, no, you, Luke, you can't have your aluminum today because we just say so. That's not gonna happen. It's just gonna be if there's a facility in your reach that has the aluminum, then you can have it. If there's no facility in your reach that has enough aluminum, well, we can't just wish it to appear. You're not gonna get it if it's not there. So again, one last time, I promise, I won't repeat it again, just this one more time. What's there is there. If there's enough, you can take it, you can use it. If there's not enough, obviously you can't have it because it's not there. It's as simple as that.
It's just crazy. We're obviously wasting so much resources. The beautiful thing about markets is they do this all for us. They without any central planning let us know how many resources should go towards processing plants and roads and trucks and workers and all this good stuff. So
okay, I'd like to address this misunderstanding you seem to be having. There is no central planning in a resource-based economy. I don't know where you got this from. It's wrong. There's no central planning. A resource-based economy basically is the same structure, the same economy we have today, just without using money. Like I said before, we don't just tear everything down and rebuild some magical resource-based economy or something. In the beginning, we use what's here, obviously. And we simply stop using money and start using, or just continue using, the same information we're already using today for production, for distribution, for everything. It simply runs on information, on databases, on lists, whatever. And this is not centrally planned. It's a network. It's planned by everybody, basically. So if I have my fridge at home, I can open my fridge, I can see, oh, okay, I have only 1 pack of milk left, so I'll probably need more milk by tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So, depending on the technology, I either order 3 packs of milk, or I go to the store and simply get 3 packs of milk. Then we have this next station, the store. They have, I don't know, 100 packs of milk left. They know every day 20 packs of milk are going out, so they know, okay, by next week at the latest we're gonna need a few more 100 packs of milk. They're gonna order it, and so on. But there doesn't need to be money for that, there only needs to be information for that. And again, you seem to be holding this belief, which I don't understand, that money itself regulates all that, which I don't know where you get it. In every store, those are 2 separate things. They have their, I don't know what it's called, their bookkeeping, where they have the, in simple terms, 2 lists, 2 sides of one list. One is incoming money, one is outgoing money, and that is the one thing. The other thing is their inventory list, and those 2 are pretty much separate. It's not like you take the money list and from that you can tell how much milk you have to order. That's not the way it works. You have your inventory list that tells you how much of every item is still in your store or in your storage, and you have your average numbers of sale per day, and from that you can calculate, okay, in 5 days we're gonna run out of this and that item, so we're gonna need to order so many of that item in time, so we're not gonna run out. The money doesn't regulate that, the information regulates that, and this information we can still keep in a resource-based economy without exchanging any paper or digital money.
Be more, sufficient in your answers. It's not acceptable just to say they'll have all this aluminum. Okay, I think you get that. And the other part where you're just like, they will deliver it to you. You order it on the internet and they will deliver it. Well, who's they and why are they delivering it?
Right, okay, I think that might already be clear by now, but again, just to answer this specific question, they are simply the same people who would deliver aluminum to you today. Just then you're not gonna have to pay them, they're not gonna have to pay whoever refined the aluminum for them, and so on. And you also asked why. Well, why? I don't know what answer you want to hear from me. The why in reality is gonna be so that society can function. And at this point I can only emphasize again, before an RBE can work, we're gonna need a value change in the people. So people are gonna need to want this to work before it can work. This means, for example, the person who delivers the aluminum to you, before an RBE can work, this person will, by definition, want an RBE to work. So he's simply gonna know if this RBE is supposed to work. I'm gonna do my aluminum delivery job at least as long as I am not replaced by a machine. And that's the way he or she can know that the system, the society is gonna keep working. Now you're gonna probably ask yourself when you heard this, well, why would anyone do that when he doesn't get paid for it anymore? That's the thing I'm talking about. A value change, first of all. So people are gonna be very much more unemployed than they are today. They're gonna be very much more homeless than they are today. And at some point things are gonna get so bad that people will want a new system. That is, well, call it my prediction, call it my hope, whatever, or my fear even. I mean, it would be nice if things didn't get that bad, but at the moment it looks like we're on the best way to that point. So again, the thing is, there's going to be a value change, otherwise there's not going to be a resource-based economy. That means if we have a resource-based economy, the people are gonna they will have understood what is necessary to make this resource-based economy work. That means if I have a job today, now in the system, that is necessary for society to work, then I will understand, okay, if I simply stop doing this job and a resource-based economy is started, then I'm gonna be a problem that probably is gonna make this resource-based economy fail. So obviously I'm gonna keep doing my job, like I said, until a machine is built or invented that can replace me or take some of the work off of me. The second point is, like I said before, as soon as we start a resource-based economy, many people are simply gonna be free out of a job from one day to the next. Namely, everybody whose job was just about money. So, well, you name it. You know how many jobs today are just about money, don't really produce anything, just move money from here to there, or are just cashiers standing there all day and taking money from the customers, or people working at banks, or whatever, you name it. All those people are gonna be free as soon as there's money less resource-based economy. So all those people can immediately start to basically help everyone else with their work. So this comes back to the question which you're probably asking yourself, if I'm guessing right: why would the aluminum delivery guy keep doing his job? Well, first of all, like I said, his value is going to be changed, and second, he's gonna have like 2 bankers helping him. So his work week is not gonna be 5 or 6 days anymore. It's gonna be 1.5 or 2 days maybe, and he's gonna know he won't have to fear for his job anymore. He can only be happy if he's replaced by a machine. He won't have to fear for his house, for his home. He will be completely free of any of the fears, or most of the fears that people live under today, which are most of them monetary based. Instead of 5 or 6 days per week, he's gonna be working 1.5 or 2 days per week, and he knows probably by next month or next 2 months or something, there's gonna be another person freed from another job who's gonna also take some of his work. So maybe 1 or 2 months from now he's gonna be down to 1 day of work per week, and that's just gonna continue. More and more people are gonna be replaced by machines, which is obviously gonna be a good thing at this point, because it doesn't mean for them anymore that they're unemployed and have to worry about how they're gonna pay their rent or their food, but it's just gonna mean that they will need to work less, and more people are gonna be, like I said, replaced by machines, and those people again can do a little bit of the work that is still left for human beings. So the workload is gonna drop rapidly, and you're again coming back to your aluminum delivery guy. Why? You asked why would he do that? Well, I don't know if I haven't said enough reasons yet, but I think I have. I'm gonna list them once more. First, his values are changed. They're not anymore what you know from people today. He's gonna want this system to work. He's gonna want to contribute. And second, his workload is like on day one of the resource-based economy, it's gonna be half of what it was. A few weeks later, it's gonna be a third. A few weeks after that, it's gonna be a fourth, and so on. And he can hope or probably expect that at some point he's completely gonna be replaced by a machine. So that is why he's gonna deliver the aluminum to you.
So I don't want to go too far off topic. Your bike analogy was great, but it was great for me, and I'll just explain why real fast. You acknowledge that we need the training wheels to be able to ride the bike without training wheels, right? We needed capitalism, prices, and markets to be able to get to the technology. But now that we have all the technology, we can lose the training wheels. We're a big boy now. We can ride our bike. This is the problem. Technology isn't this thing that just plateaus.
Yeah, I never said it does. Obviously, it doesn't. I don't know why you're saying it like I said it like that. I didn't. Technology doesn't plateau. Okay, let's continue.
And we get to a certain point and we don't need to go up anymore, and now we can just ride our bike, right? Because that's the analogy, and you might have did this on accident, but it fed into my hand perfectly.
Well, no, that wasn't really the analogy, but the analogy was that you need the training wheels to get to a certain degree of being able to ride your bike. Then you lose the training wheels, and from that point, of course, you keep learning. It's not like you stay at the same level of bike riding that you were when you lost your training wheels, but from then on you can keep getting better and better, obviously. I mean, look at professional BMX riders or just bicycle riders or whatever. They lost their training wheels long ago and just got better and better without their training wheels. So that is the analogy.
Technology is an ever-increasing thing. We're always going to need our training wheels.
Huh? Why? You're just saying that now, but it doesn't make sense for the analogy, and it doesn't make sense in reality. I don't know. Why? Why do you think that we're always going to need our training wheels? So that would mean you think because money took us to where we are today, we're gonna always need money? I don't see how that is logical in any way. And also with the bike analogy, it's not logical at all. Do people always need their training wheels? No, they don't. At like age 4, they lose their training wheels, and then the rest of their life they don't use their training wheels anymore. And obviously their skills get better and better until, well, with riding a bike it probably plateaus. With technological unemployment we can only guess, but I would guess it won't plateau for a very, very long time. But I really don't see the logical connection anywhere between, okay, we needed capitalism, as you call it, or a monetary system, as I would call it, to get where we are today. But where is the logic in, okay, we needed it to get here, so we're gonna keep needing it forever? Where is the logic? I don't see it.
You get me? So we're always going to need capitalism, markets, and prices. That was my point of the first video, is future technology. It's not like we get to a plateau and we say, okay, this is the technology we have, this is the stuff we have, let's reproduce it, and we're not going to go forward. There is going to be new advances. There are going to be people who want to do new things. This is where we know from the experiment, from the empirical experiment that we have, aka capitalism, that's the best mechanism to create these new things.
Really? I don't know. But I have a good idea, and that is completely the opposite of what you seem to believe. Free everybody on the planet from the need to go to a 40-hour per week job. every week, and your technological development is gonna explode basically, because you're gonna have tens or hundreds of millions of inventors all of the planet suddenly. They're gonna be able to exchange all of their information completely freely. I mean, can you even imagine what that means? All those people with all the time on their hands, with all the available resources at their hands, all the available information and technological knowledge at their hands, and the ability and capability of networking and exchanging all of their findings and results and knowledge. And you think it's empirically proven that capitalism is the best method for technological development. I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that.
So, it's not like, again, you always need training wheels. I think you get that part.
No, I don't. I don't get how you can believe that. It doesn't, like I said, the analogy doesn't even make sense. People don't always need their training wheels, obviously. I mean, look around. I don't know where you live. Around here, people ride their bikes without training wheels. And also, if you take it away from the analogy and into reality, again, no. But I don't have any arguments that I haven't presented already, because it's simply so obvious that there's no logical connection, again, between, okay, we got where we are in part due to the monetary system, but again, how does that even logically mean that we're gonna always need a monetary system? It doesn't. It simply doesn't.
You guys have this real problem with money. I just think this is hilarious. Like, why do you hate money? Like, what is money? Like, seriously, define money for me. Why does it come about? How does it come about? And why is it important for capitalism? If you can tell me that answer straight face, like you understand it, I will stop bothering you on this issue. But all the Zeitgeisters just hate money. They don't just hate the current monetary system, right? Which I hate too. They don't just hate the Fed and the state-controlled money, right? They hate just money in general as a concept.
Yeah, I don't hate money. I mean, first of all, I don't know. I don't hate anything. I think money has had its function in the past. Today, it's simply failing at what it's actually supposed to do. It's become a machine that produces profit for like the top 1% and uses everybody else as their slaves. That's what it does today, when actually it was supposed to be a mechanism of economy, a mechanism to provide everybody with what they need. That's obviously not what it's anymore, but I don't hate it because of that. That's simply wrong. I simply see it for what it is. It's like I don't know, a 20-year-old computer to me that's simply ridiculous to work with anymore today, or like a steam engine driven car, or I don't know what I'm supposed to compare it with, but it's an outdated concept, an outdated mechanism that maybe was useful a while ago or a long time ago, but today it simply doesn't do remotely what it's supposed to do anymore. But again, I don't hate it. I don't know where you get that idea, but I can tell you that it sure looks like you love money, so I can give that right back to you.
It's completely just crazy to me. So I would encourage you to look at Hayek or Mises or Rothbard, and they're very simple to understand explanations of what money is and why it's the lifeblood of any economy, and a very good thing.
Yeah, I like to look at the world and at things that were written like recently. Um, Works better for me.
Um, the problem with the monetary system, just I'll put this in there, is not fiat money, right? Paper money is not the problem. It's not. The problem is violence. If you take the state out of the equation, right? If you take violence out of the equation, and people wanted to use paper money that was backed by Pokemon toys, I wouldn't care. If people pick something that they value and they want to trade and use it as a money for their mutual benefit, so be it. The problem is violence. So I think the market tends to pick gold and silver, but now we see the new things like Bitcoin, right? So I'm not opposed to any solution as long as there's not violence behind it.
Well, the problem is any monetary system produces violence. I hope that's what you mean by violence. What I mean is people are gonna cheat each other wherever and whenever they can. People are gonna, well, first of all, every day at every corner they're gonna be competing against each other. They're gonna be making each other sell themselves cheaper and cheaper, which I already see as a form of violence. If your competition gets cheaper by 10 cents, you're gonna need to get cheaper by 20 cents, and they're gonna need to get cheaper by 10 more cents. And that in itself is a form of violence to me that you can't get out of with any money system that you can think of, because competition is simply part of it. As long as people are making money, they're gonna want to make more money, and when someone, which is also always gonna be part of it, when someone sells the same thing or the same service that you sell, they're gonna make it a little bit cheaper than yours so that people buy it from them. And that, like I said, in itself is one form of violence that I don't know how you think you're gonna get or out of that ever while using a monetary system. A second form of violence that is completely connected to using money is the violence against nature. It's always going to be cheaper to simply dump something than to recycle it properly, or to put it properly where it can be recycled or stored or whatever safely. So just again, for the sake of competition, people can't afford to behave in a way that is good for the environment. That is again a form of violence, not just against nature, but in the end also against itself. Obviously, I don't think I need to explain why. When water and the air and everything becomes polluted, obviously we're committing violence against other human beings and ourselves. That too is completely and forever connected to a monetary system. The only thing you can try to do against that is laws, and well, we know how well those work. And there are so many more forms of violence connected to a money system. I mean, starvation, probably, definitely the worst form of violence ever in the world. I mean, show me something else that kills 20 to 30,000 children every day, and that is the monetary system. They do not get the food and medicine they could get because they simply can't afford it, and because they're the fucking slaves of the rest of the world, and they're simply not worth it in the eyes of those few percent on top who get all the profits from everyone else slaving their asses off. So yeah, that is violence that is gonna be completely and forever connected to using a money system.
Ultimately, I think money is one of the best things to increase our potential as humans, especially in the producing and the production of goods and services. Okay, last thing. You guys get excited when you're like thinking about actual physical goods and services, right? Like the physical aluminum. You're like, ooh, I can imagine solar panels and really cheap energy to be able to produce all this stuff, like chairs and solar panels and cars. But what about the more important part? Like, as the United States became wealthier and wealthier, we changed more to a service-driven nation. Like our industries went more towards service, back rubs and psychiatric help and music, live concerts and things like this, right?
Well, I'm glad you're focusing on the really relevant stuff. So, back rubs, well, first of all, why do most people need a back rub? Because they've been sitting all day at a desk or at a cashier's counter or whatever, and their neck is killing them, so that's why they need a back rub. Also, I don't know, seriously, music concerts, and what was your third thing? Oh yeah, psychiatric help. Don't get me started. So, you think that's a good thing that we're changing more and more to a service nation? I mean, I'm not even in your nation, but whatever. I mean, it's what you're saying is also true for the entire world, I guess. But the example of psychiatric help, yeah. Why do most people need psychiatric help? Because of stress, because of monetary related fear and stress and I don't know, anger about losing their job or losing their home or whatever. So how you can even name that as a positive thing, it's beyond me.
You cannot promise people that they can all get the same experiences in your Venus project. It's literally impossible.
Yeah, and we're not. Again, you're doing this thing where you're saying you cannot do this or you cannot do that, which we're not doing. I've never met anyone in the Zeitgeist movement who said anything like that. We're not saying that. You're trying to put it into our mouths, and then you're saying you can't say that. Well, we're not saying it. Okay?
You cannot say, Luke, on your Sweet 16 you can have Modest Yahoo play a concert in your backyard. Oh, but also your neighbor can. And also a kid in Finland can. And Ontario can. Oh, and Australia. Right? This Modest Yahoo is one dude. He just can't be split up and thrown around the world like that. So, not everyone can have a cruise ship to the Bahamas in July this year. Right? It's impossible. So don't promise people unlimited access to scarce goods.
Yeah, we're not. We're not doing that, really. I mean, show me anyone related to the Zeitgeist movement or the Venus Project who ever promised anyone unlimited access to scarce goods. We're not promising people that. You say that we can't do that, and I agree, we can't, and we aren't. We're not doing that.
Right, or even equal access to scarce goods. That's the point. You cannot, certain experiences, you can't have equal access to it by its very nature. Only one person can surf the perfect break at pipeline at a time. There can be several surfers in the water, but one surfer can drop down and get the barrel and ride it out. As you know, it's physically impossible for another surfer to have that experience. So there is scarcity. It is all around us. You cannot just magic wand, wish it away, and say that you're going to have all the experience, or at least equal access to it. That's the main point. You cannot have equal access to all the experiences.
I know. We know. We're not saying you can. Things that are scarce are scarce. We can do our best or try our best to make them less scarce, to create an abundance wherever we can. But, I mean, it's it's stupid. It's totally unlogical to say that people can have unlimited access to something that is scarce. That is the definition of scarce, that there's no unlimited access to it or even equal access to it. That's why it's called scarce. So we're not saying that. Please stop saying we're saying that, or please stop telling us we can't say that, because we're not saying that, okay?
Um, and to get to the really philosophical issue here is to say that, well, people just won't want to go surfing. Really? Do you really want to live in a world where people don't want to go surfing?
Again, whoever said anything like that, it's bullshit, sorry dude, but that's not what we're saying. First of all, surfing is such a fucking irrelevant topic. I don't know why we're even talking about it when there's a child dying of starvation every 5 seconds. We're talking about surfing, you're talking about surfing, really? And second, we're not saying the Venus project or the resource based economy is going to be a world where no one can go surfing. Where are we ever saying that? We're saying you're going to be free to do whatever you want, but obviously, when something is scarce by nature and you're not there in time to do it because someone else is already gonna be already doing it, then well, tough luck, dude. Really. Then you can't surf the perfect wave, like you said, when someone else is already surfing it. But does this have anything to do with an economic system? And especially, what is your consequence? Is your consequence, okay, we should play this game where only a few percent of the world's population are the winners who can have all the scarce stuff, and everybody else is going to be the losers, like 1 billion people are going to be totally living in starvation and everything, just so we can play this great game where a few rich assholes can buy everything and everyone else is gonna be the sucker who just can't, just because you think which is even wrong, that in the other system it would be a problem because not everybody can have everything and can surf the perfect wave. So that is your argument. I don't know, that really doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, people just won't want to play golf on the moon. People just won't want. I mean, really? Like, I don't want to be a part of the Venus Project if people just don't want to do the things that seem to be the most satisfying and fulfilling adventures in life.
Yeah, again, you're making up this stuff, what the Venus Project or the resource-based economy is going to be like, and then you're saying, I don't want to be part of that, but that's coming from you. You're making this up. No one actually advocating a resource-based economy is saying that's what it's going to be like. You're saying it, and it's wrong. Why are you doing this? I mean, I hate to get into this ad hominem blah blah stuff way of talking, but seriously, is this your tactic of first saying wrong things about what the resource-based economy is going to be and then saying, no, I don't want this because that's bad? Well, yeah, no one of us, as you always say, we are not saying that, you're saying it, and it's wrong. That's not the way it's going to be, that's not the way we're advocating it to be, and we're not even talking about stuff like playing golf on the moon or surfing. I think there are more important things in the world, don't you?
Like, I'm not attached to materialistic objects, right? I'm not attached to cars and big houses, and but I do want to play golf on the moon. I mean, I do want to surf pipeline. I do want to skydive off of a mountain, right? I want to base jump. You know, these experiences that aren't necessarily materialistic are scarce. Only one person can do them at a time in a lot of cases. So you need to answer those experiences that are obviously scarce, that are not bad, right? There's nothing bad about wanting to surf pipeline. And if there is, inform your viewers, right? Let the Zeitgeist movement know that that's what you're planning to pitch. Guys, we have this great place. It's called the Venus Project. You can get food, and you can get water, and you can get chairs and watches. You can get some stuff. But what you can't ever do, right, is you can't ever like surf or skydive or play soccer on the best pitch, right? The best soccer field. Football, excuse me, I call it football too. You can't do all those joys of life.
Yeah, dude, that's just bullshit. I mean, where do you get this stuff? Why do you think that's what we're saying? It's the complete opposite. What we're saying is everyone can do that stuff as far as it's available. Obviously, you can only do what's available, but I can guarantee you one thing: in a resource-based economy, more people than today, way more people than today, will be able to go skydiving or will be able to play football or go surfing or whatever. Because today it's limited by money. I mean, who can go skydiving today? Only the people who have the money to do it. Who can when can you go play football today? When you don't have to work. In a resource-based economy, you can go play football whenever there's a football field available. And if you want to play football like 5 times a week, and you by your experience shows you that only 2 of those 5 times a football field is available for you, well, then you can simply get together with a group of other people who want to play football and build a new football field, or initiate that a new football field will be built. And if you want to go skydiving, you don't need the money for it. You don't need like at least a few thousand euros or dollars or whatever to take the entire course and then to pay for every dive. Obviously you won't need the money for it. But then also, if you want to go skydiving like twice a week, and you see there's only once a week there's a plane available for you, then you basically order another plane to be built. You get together with a group of people, you say, hey, there's demand for another skydiving plane. Please, when resources are available, build another plane. And I mean, it's not going to be less people than today, obviously. All the resources that are available are going to be used if people... How do I explain this to you? Today it's limited by money. Again, I can only say it like that. Today it is very likely that every skydiving plane stands around a good amount of time, just because no one can afford to actually use it, to actually go skydiving. In a resource-based economy, that won't be the case. It will be used as much as people want to use it. And if the availability of the chutes or of the planes or something is maxed, then you can have new planes or new chutes, parachutes, I don't know the right word. You can have new ones built and use them, and it won't cost any money. It's resource based. That's what it means. If the resources are there, you can build it. If they're not there, well, obviously you won't be able to build it. But you seem to be having this idea that when we stop using money, then no one's gonna be able to do anything, because everyone's gonna want to do it, and obviously not everyone can do it, so no one can do it. That seems to be the way you're thinking, but I don't know where you're getting this from. Again, that's not what we're saying, that's what you seem to be trying to put into our mouths. We're not saying it like that. We're saying what is there can be used. You can obviously never use more than is there, but in a resource-based economy, at least you won't be limited by money. When there aren't enough surfboards on the beach, and you want to go surfing, well, then you order one or you get one from the store, and you don't need to worry about do I have enough money to get one. You simply get it, and if the store sees, okay, in a few days we're gonna run out of surfboards, then they're gonna order more surfboards from the factory that builds surfboards, and so on. That's the way it works.
Because there's only one Wembley, right? You can't all play soccer, football, and Wembley at the same time. You can't do it. So my challenge to you is answering the questions that I posed in this video, but mainly those kind of experiences. The obviously scarce, not materialistic or material-driven goods and services.
Yeah, on top of what I've already explained to you, I can only tell you one more thing. If that is your reasoning that we cannot switch to a money-free, resource-based economy, because then some free time activities like surfing or music concerts are gonna be some sort of problem, so we'd rather continue in the system we have today, where 1 billion people are starving every day, where every 5 seconds a child dies because of preventable disease or malnutrition, where 6 billion and something people are basically slaves for a few million people who are fucking rich. If that is your idea and your proposal, well, then I really don't know what else to tell you, because that is just fucking stupid.
I think I covered everything. You guys always want to do this. I just want to slip this in at the end. You guys always want to do the current situation sucks and it's crashing and it's unsustainable and it's capitalism. Like, you just slip that in there. But come on, you're better than that. I don't say the current situation sucks. It's collapsing, it's unsustainable, and it's the Venus Project. It's clearly not the Venus Project, and it's clearly not capitalism. What we have at best is state-controlled capitalism, fascism, or corporatism, whatever you want to call it. It is miles and miles away from capitalism, so I'd appreciate your acknowledgement there. If you want to represent capitalism, it's not actually even that hard to do it. There's a lot of empirical evidence on what capitalism has done. The American experiment, hundreds of millions of people escaping poverty, hundreds of millions of people escaping subsistence levels of living, being able to play sports and to go to school, and unbelievable explosions of wealth came out of capitalism. So if you want to use some data to represent capitalism, there's an actual pretty good window to do so. So I would encourage you to look at the actual data there and not represent the current situation as capitalism.
In my previous video, I think I used the word capitalism because you used it.
Right, they want to take all the good stuff from that the capitalists created, and they ignore that all of this stuff came out of a capitalist economy.
But I'm not talking about capitalism at all. I'm talking about a monetary system, I'm talking about money, but yeah, I'm not flipping capitalism in anywhere because I don't care about that word. It's money, it's a monetary system.
But again, Thomas, thank you so much. I look forward to your response, and yeah, peace out, man.
Alright, what else to say? I hope I didn't get too angry or too cynical in this video. To be honest, I'm not very happy about some of the ways you keep saying that we say stuff, and then you always say, well, that's bad and I don't want that, when actually we're not saying those things. You're saying them. I have to tell you, unfortunately, it appears that you have some bad information about what we're actually advocating, what we're actually saying. There seem to be a lot of misunderstandings, and I don't know why that is. Maybe you talk to the wrong people. Maybe your preconceptions are too big, and everything just goes everything you hear about us just goes through this filter that is already there in your mind and just, well, doesn't arrive in your mind the way we're actually saying it, because you just want to hear, you just hear what you want to hear. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you the things you say we're saying, we're not really saying. So I'd also like to ask you to look into our information so that we're at least on the same level about what we're actually saying, because a lot of the stuff that you don't like about what we're saying is based on, well, on wrong information that you got from somewhere. So again, I hope this video in the end was helpful somehow. I don't know, maybe we could get together on TeamSpeak or on Skype sometime and actually talk about this stuff. Alright, peace to you.